the Promotion on a Budget podcast, and today we've got another episode of Club by Club. We are absolutely smashing these out. But unlike the club we're talking about now, they aren't smashing out wins. And that is Bournemouth, who are currently 2-0 down to Cardiff as we speak.
2-1.
2-1 down. They've just got a goal back. But Bournemouth aren't really on the greatest run of form. They were second in the league, challenging Norwich to that title. But that's all changed, and Bournemouth look to be exiting those playoff places now. Josh, Bournemouth's season started so bright. What went wrong?
I mean, if you kind of look, and I'm going to do this, I'm literally going to sit here and look at the fixtures. You look at their kind of opening to the season. Okay, so they started so strongly. I mean, their first loss came against Sheffield Wednesday, who obviously we've all kind of seen, and it was by a penalty. They were carried on so strong. I mean, they went 2-0 down to Reading, who were high-flying at the time. They then won that 4-2. Then they hit this little dip in form. And that, I would almost say, spiralled from the game against Brentford. They lost 2-1 away to Brentford. They then beat Stoke, but then proceeded to go 3 games, picking up only 1 point. They drew to Millwall. They lost to Luton at home. Obviously, in that game, they had Jefferson Lerma sent off early. And then you look at the fact that they then lost to Derby. They've strung together a nice little FA Cup run. But that's obviously kind of late. They've had a very topsy-turvy kind of season. They've dropped points in games that they really shouldn't have dropped points in. And quite frankly, Bournemouth fans, I know, as the table stands, they're sat in 7th place. I know at the start of the season, I saw so many Bournemouth fans predicting they're going to bounce straight back up. They're going to be up there to win the league, top 2, if not top 3, if they weren't going to make the top 2. And that was the story of a lot of their season. I believe they, like you said, they did sit top of the league. They really were up there and challenging for a while. You look at the table now, they're 18 points off the top.
See, this is the thing. I've had many conversations. I believe I've told you this many times. And now, I look at the 3 teams that went down in Watford, Norwich and Bournemouth. And out of the 3 teams who I think would most likely struggle was going to be Bournemouth. Norwich, yeah, they finished bottom, but they kept the bulk of that championship winning squad there. So they've got sort of that experience there. Watford have a lot of quality all around the pitch, and they've kept most of that quality there, like Ismaila Sarr, Ben Foster, Kabasele, Kiko Feminier. Loads of quality in that Watford team. And you look at Bournemouth, and Bournemouth is where you see and be like, right, they're experiencing a few issues because they lost Ryan Fraser, they lost Callum Wilson, both went to Newcastle. That's 2 of their best players gone. And Nathan Ake as well. I completely forgot. Nathan Ake went to Man City for 40 million. You lost your key centre half. And that already puts them in a very, very difficult position. They've got to replace these players. And, Dominic Solanke, people thought he'd maybe, find his level in the championship. He's only got 10 league goals a season for a team that wants to be promoted. It's not enough. You need a striker who scores more goals. You look at Timu Pukki of Norwich, 17 league goals. Look at Lucas João of Reading, 20 league goals. Kiefer Moore's got a load of goals as well. And Ivan Toney is obviously high flying.
I mean, the way that I see this, and I've got the table in front of me now. Bournemouth's main issue this season is the amount of games they've drawn. They've only lost. So for a team that's obviously, as I'm saying this, they've just slipped outside the top 6 as it stands. They've lost 9 games all season, which is by no means a horrendous stat at all.
It's not.
But they've got 2 teams above them who have lost 11 in Cardiff and Reading. Bournemouth have drawn 10 compared to the 7 draws of Cardiff and the 6 draws of Reading. And that's kind of been what has really hampered Bournemouth this season, is actually being able to get results. If we go through the games that they've drawn 0-0 with Nottingham Forest, 1-1 with Millwall, 0-0 with Luton, 0-0 with Swansea, 2-2 with Rotherham. I mean, that Rotherham game was kind of one that I know I kept a tab on at the time. They went 1-0 up, and then a Freddie Ladapo brace. They actually went behind in that game. Now, you kind of look at games like that and go, right, okay, 0-0, obviously, that's just a lack of scoring. They've done what they needed to do at the back and they've kept the goals out. But against a team like Rotherham and how Rotherham were kind of looking at the time, even now, Rotherham aren't exactly high and flying.
No.
It's games like that where they're dropping points to teams that they really shouldn't drop points to. That's what's killed them off this season. It's not like that they can't score goals. They've scored 46 in the league.
Yeah.
It's not like their defence is horrendous because they've only conceded 32.
But it's just the overall game, isn't it? They don't, like I said, Norwich and Watford both kept hold of their quality. And Bournemouth, I guess, just kind of didn't have that quality. And I think there's a few players in that Bournemouth side that, for me, just haven't really made the step up. Danjuna Grunewald, David Brooks, I don't think has been excellent. I mean, he's had good games, but it hasn't been excellent by any means. And Dom Solanke, only the 10 goals. I mean, it's not an awful return. He might finish on 15 for the season, which isn't horrendous, but it's not great. It's not great if you want to get those automatic spots or playoff promotion spots. You need a striker who's banging in goals.
I mean, it's ironic, really, because like we say, if you're looking at their attack, they've got a young lad in Sam Surridge who's kind of at points he's had glimpses of really good quality. They've brought in some very experienced championship quality in Shane Long. Obviously, he, in my books, will always be held in some of the highest regard. And then you look at other kind of experienced players that they've brought in. They've brought in the likes of Jack Wilshere. They've kept hold of players who'd played in the entire Premier League, like Steve Cook. They've got another experience. They've got a very big experience in goal in Asmir Begovic. Now, again, it's not the kind of squad that should be doing as poorly as it is. And I mean, Bournemouth are one of the clubs that have sacked a manager throughout this season. What did you make of that?
I think it was the right time. I mean, look, they were on a very, very big dip of form. Something had to change. The performances weren't changing. So, yeah, I think you do kind of look into that point and be like, okay, maybe we do need to change things up. But the fact is, it was just after the January transfer window, wasn't it, that he got sacked? And I think that was the wrong time to do it, if I'm honest. I think you should either have done it before the January transfer window and get a manager in that can get his transfers in, but at the time they weren't performing badly, or at least give the manager a month with the new signings that he's brought in maybe in January to kind of see if we can work things out. And obviously we saw Jack Wilshere join. It would have been interesting to see what he could do, especially in the Championship as well. You know, Jack Wilshere would be a hell of a player to have in that division. So I think I can understand it was, like I say, results-based business. It's the same with that we said about Ivic and, you know, between Cardiff and Bristol as well as a results-based business. You've kind of got to sack them. That's the story behind it. But overall, I do think it's the right decision. I think Bournemouth did need a change. They did need someone who can get them results. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's working. Maybe it goes deeper in the roots of the club, but it is an interesting one. But anyway, shall we have a look at some of the last 6 games that Bournemouth have got? Obviously, they start off. We'll go from the 6th to last game. It's Huddersfield away for them. Difficult place to go, Huddersfield. It's not easy, but
is it? I don't think Huddersfield's their 6th to last away game.
It's not. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No. Yeah, they've got Huddersfield. They play Huddersfield in mid-March.
Am I wrong?
Look, I've got them up in front of me.
No, they haven't. No, that's mid-April. 100%. Huddersfield away. 13th of April. 13th of April. Tuesday the 13th of April.
Are we talking about the right team here?
Bournemouth, yeah.
I've got them down as playing Huddersfield in 24 days' time on the 20th of March.
Well, I've got them playing Tuesday the 13th of April. Well, we'll go with my one. So, Huddersfield away. Now that was... how do you think they'll cope?
Again, like we said in the last episode to do with Reading, it's a very tough game, Huddersfield, especially if they're still down. And I think in terms of their fixtures, going forward, compared, if you look at kind of going through the last games is what I mean by going forward, just over the course of their last games, they're difficult. They're difficult in a different way to some of the differences and difficulty that we've experienced from some of the teams we've spoken about previously above them in the league. They've got a fair few games against teams that are potentially down and around the relegation area, like we've got with Huddersfield here. I mean, if you want to kind of if you just read out the fixtures and then we can kind of give a blanket overview, because this one's a bit of I would say,
I think you've got to kind of just read out all 6 and just guess how, and kind of just give it a guess how many points they're going to probably get in that area. Then
let's have a look.
They've got Norwich at home, difficult game. Norwich away. Norwich away even. They've already played Norwich at home. Very difficult game, depending on how Bournemouth are doing at the point. Millwall away, that's difficult. Brentford at home, so 4 very, very difficult games. Then they've got Wickham away and the Stoke at home. Realistically, I'm seeing there 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 points. I'm thinking.
I'm not seeing many guaranteed wins, and I'm
seeing one guaranteed win.
I'd just like to clarify, it's completely my mistake. They do play Huddersfield when you were saying. I've obviously not seen that they've got their FA Cup game on the 20th of March against Southampton. So you can blame the... I'm not going to name and shame the app that I use, but they are yet to actually update that fixture. Currently, they're playing at 2:15 on the 20th of March at home, and then somehow the squad has also got to get all the way up to Huddersfield for a 3 o'clock kickoff. My bad. I do apologise.
Do you know what? The app that did get the information wrong. If you do want to sponsor the Promotion on Budget podcast, get in contact with promotiononbudget@gmail.com, and we will be happy to answer your inquiries. If not, Josh will name drop you, and we will make sure the video goes viral. Thank you. Sorry, Josh. Just try and get some sponsors here, and a bit of money in the pocket, I guess. But yeah. I guess, that's everything really for Bournemouth. It's a very, very sticky situation for them at the minute. We want to see if they can progress, can pick up results, and maybe can put themselves back in the playoffs. But at the minute, it's very, very hard to see. But anyway, guys, like I say, if you have enjoyed this podcast, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow all our socials, which will be down in the description. And make sure you tickle that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more videos, which there are plenty of to come. 3 Club by Club episodes a week at the minute. And that is it from me, and we shall see you later.